This is the B-Team Podcast, brought to you by Jackrabbit Illustrated. The B-Team is presented by Drake's Place in Battle, South Dakota, and sponsored by Jackrabbit Central and Shenanigans in Sioux Falls. Now, here are your B-Team hosts, Brendan and Ben.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into the B-Team Podcast. Thank you again for joining us for our season wrap-up here. As always, I got Ben here with us, and Chad is starting to nail our transition on the intros, which is pretty sweet. End of season form, which is good. But howdy, Patrick, by the way. Saw you jumped on, said hey. But otherwise, Ben, how are you doing? Have you recovered emotionally from everything yet?
Somewhat. It's I had recovered, and then now that it's championship week, I'm like, man, I really wish I was prepping to go down to Frisco. But yeah, it's unfortunately we are not. Yeah. Are you still going?
Oh yeah, I'm still going. Well, really, honestly, if we didn't do the fundraiser with the FCS Fans Nation guys and all that stuff where I had signed up for it, I would have really considered not going. But our buddy Dustin is hooking me up with the hotel room while we're down there too, so I wouldn't have been able to back out on him either. I wish we were preparing. I was preparing to go and watch Jax play. That'd have been it'd be a lot more fun. But it should be a fun time. We'll enjoy it and I'll have a good time and all that jazz. So
speaking of the fundraiser, is Kyler getting a tattoo down there?
I think they said, I was just listening to this first time I've been able to bring myself to listen to an FCS podcast. I started listening to the FCS Fan Nation guys, and it sounds like if it is feasible with their timetable, then they'll definitely do it down there. But if not, then I think they're gonna live stream it up there. So that's a shame. But no, it'll be a good time. It'll be a lot of fun. Kyler's getting his Go Grizz tattoo. I'm assuming it's gonna be somewhere not visible, like a butt cheek or something. Which to me is almost worse. I was sitting there thinking, going, man, if I was that dumb to put myself on the line like that and I end up getting a tattoo I don't want, where would I put it? And like, God, there's not a lot of good places. Like the bottom of your foot, but that would hurt. Like that would, like that's a spot that just makes me crawl. Like I don't think rib cages or anything would really be too bad. But
yeah, you gotta hide.
I don't know where I do that.
Sure. Maybe deep in the armpit. That would hurt.
Really there you go. There you go.
Anyway, enough about Kyler's tattoo, which it's awesome, by the way, that the number got that high. If I was him, I would have put a number much higher than $15,000, but it did get there. So what did it end up at? I don't even know.
It ended up north of 15. I don't know the exact final tally. I know somebody jumped in at the final minute and did like a $700 donation anonymously to put it at the 15,000 mark, which was awesome. But no, and in the end, I mean, if he doesn't do that, it doesn't get that high. So
it's very true. It probably stops at 10 or 11,000. So yeah, I mean, raised another $4,000 or $5,000 for the kids. Yeah, I mean, it helped a lot of kids. So that's cool. I wasn't going to bail on that. I wouldn't have bailed on Dustin, even though he says he'd whip my jolly green butt. And I'm a little insulted that he called me green in any form or fashion. But I'll look past that. I'll look past it this time. But a lot of stuff happening after that game. I mean, do we want to talk that game a little bit? I mean, that's just kind of. Let's talk about it.
This is therapy for all of us. We're, everybody's here. All listeners are here. Let's, all get this out. Really, I think outside of the game and how that happened itself, the real key is not playing semifinal games on the road. Matt said in his rants and raves that this game, the season didn't end there. It ended in with the loss to USD in Southern Illinois. I wouldn't say the season ended there, but it makes it extremely, extremely difficult if you are on the road. I mean, we've seen that time and time again. I mean, if you think about it, the time we made the Natty, we were the home team. I mean, that makes such a huge difference in the FCS, especially in the playoffs. So that was really tough. It was a phenomenal environment. And that Malott, man, that dude, Malott beat us that day. Their defense did, and Malott did. And that was killer. Their defense, I think, gets a little underrated for what they did do to us. And I think so in our games, I went and looked, our games in the playoffs that we've lost, I think everyone except for maybe one of them, we've scored less than 21 points. So,
yeah.
I mean, you only score 17 points. You're not going to win many games that way.
Yeah. Yeah, Malott was very impressive. And along with, what's that receiver's name? Like 86 is real tall.
God, that dude was a stud, and I don't remember his name, but that guy was a monster. He's
an NFL wide receiver. Like he's good. He goes up and gets the ball at the high point. But yeah, just Tommy touchdowns, man. His drive where he would not go down, and he was getting 3-4 extra yards that most quarterbacks and even running backs don't do. But that kid has some heart, and he has a motor that never stops. And it was just, he kept drives going, and we'd have him stopped, and he would just drive for another 2 or 3 yards and get a first down. And if he's doing that, they're real tough to stop. And even with that, honestly, we were in the game into the mid to late third quarter. I feel like we panicked a little bit once we got down by 7 in the mid to the late third quarter. We tried to start throwing the ball. We got sacked, and then we got in a bad position. Then we threw the interception. It was kind of over after that once they got up by 14, because I mean they're a good enough defense that if they get a two score lead, they're going to be tough to come back on. And so that's when the game kind of got away from us. And credit to them. I mean, we were trying to run the ball early, and we were getting stopped, and so we had to do other things. But I do wish we would have stuck with the run a little bit more and kind of trusted our hogs and the best backfield in the FCS to kind of take over that game. Even though we were down by 7, it just felt like we panicked. Felt like we thought we need to get away from the run now. We're down. We got to catch up. I just wish we didn't do that, but we did, and Oladokin made a bad throw, and then everything's history after that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree on all of that there, especially that drive in particular. That was killer. But like Dion Blumenrader says, he says he's our Mark Gronowski. He did. The way he runs the ball reminds me of Mark Gronowski, which very, very, very few quarterbacks run like that or have the ability to. It wasn't so much necessarily that he was like a freakish athlete or anything, but he was athletic. He can run, and he didn't run like a quarterback. Like we talked about all spring with Mark, he doesn't run like a quarterback, So, that was killer. Some of those guys just have that it factor. And on that drive, I remember sitting there thinking, man, we can't panic. Just keep doing what we've been doing, and we can get something going. And then you go pass, and we get off schedule, and then it turned into a mess. And, we ended up with what happened. And in the end, it's a semifinal game. It's nothing to hang your head about, by any stretch. I know it is really difficult because we have the rivals that we do of NDSU, because they're going to ride us about it until the end of time, every time, until we win a natty. And that's the way it is. But we do have to step back a little bit. And I mean, it was really incredible. The amount of games this team won in the calendar year, to go on the run that they did with only having one home game and having to play the opening round does not happen very often. So, it's tough. It's a tough way to see the seniors go out. Logan, those sorts of guys, and Mason and all those guys. It's really tough to see them go out that way. Chris did a phenomenal job coming in as a grad transfer for us. But in the end, you're on the road and you lost to a really good team. That's what happens.
I mean, and you mentioned really good team. A huge part of that is Troy Anderson. That guy who, he's going to go down as probably one of the best FCS players ever. And he's going to make some noise in the NFL. I guarantee that. He made, obviously the big one was our first touchdown, or what should have been touchdown drive. When we got down to, I think it was like the 4 or 5 yard line or something like that. And it was like a 4th and 2. We give the ball to Davis, and any other player in the country in the FCS level is not making that play against Isaiah Davis, because Davis is fast enough and strong enough. He's going to beat 99.9% of the other players in the FCS. Troy Anderson made an amazing play, and I could tell. I think that was it was a statement by him, and it kind of took the wind out of our sails a little bit. That was to me, it was kind of a game defining play, even though it was 0-0 and still tied after that. It was just a huge play for them, huge momentum play. There was that one, and then there was another one. Trying to remember. I don't remember when it was in the game, but we threw one of those tight end screens in the middle of the field to Tucker Kraft, and he broke free and he was running towards the touchdown. Troy Anderson comes out of nowhere and pushes him out of bounds. And I went back and looked at the replay. He came all the way like from the opposite side of the field, took the perfect angle, met Kraft and pushed him out of bounds. And I think we ended up with a field goal on that drive. But it should have been a touchdown. But Troy Anderson is just that good. Yeah. So, it was a treat to watch him play because he's really, really good.
He is the best football player in the country, and it's not close. Because think of it this way: that man has been all-conference, all-American. He might have been an all-American at quarterback. I know he was for sure all-conference player of the year at quarterback for Montana State. He was. I believe he was on the Walter Payton Award watch list, I think, as a running back or something like that. He's been a Buck Buchanan finalist. So he's played linebacker, quarterback, running back, all in one career. And he wasn't just playing it. He was phenomenal at all these positions. There's no better football player I've ever seen play. And Deion Sanders, didn't do something to that level. He played wide receiver and cornerback, but those positions are pretty similar. Whereas Troy Anderson playing quarterback and then going to middle linebacker is just incredible. And he honestly is so good. I think there needs to be an award given, made. They need to make a Troy Anderson award for the best football player in the division. And I'm not being sarcastic about that. A best football player award, not most valuable, not best offense, not best defense. Extra points goes to the guy who played both ways and whatever. And that needs to be an award because that guy is insane. It is absolutely insane what he's accomplished in his career. And like you said, he had a monster impact on a game, which, we should have expected. I don't think we talked about him enough before the game, maybe, that as much as we should have, as much of an impact he was going to have. But yeah, the man's a monster. He's incredible. And that was, what do you do?
Yeah, Chad's got his career bio up on the screen. If you get your monocle out, you'll be able to see that thing. Most people aren't going to be able to read that.
Let me look at it with me wee glasses.
Hey, I can only make it so big and it fits on the screen. Otherwise, we got to scroll left or right. So, sorry, I was just trying to highlight a few things.
Get that green shirt out of here. Unbelievable.
It's a snowman. It's Christmas.
And he's got a green shirt.
Christmas is over, buddy.
Christmas is over, and you're wearing green on the pod. Unbelievable.
Fine, Bob.
So, boo.
I do like that hat.
Everybody boo Chad in the comments. Yeah, the hat's sweet. But it is.
Ron Lowney chimed in here. He said, Touchdown Tommy was an all-state wrestler in high school. Understands leverage. I can see that, man. And he's an all-state sprinter.
Yeah.
4.0 student, 4.0 engineer. Yeah, so he's an impressive kid. I mean, and if he continues to develop his
he's better than me in every way.
Right, yeah. He's got you pegged in all aspects.
Literally everything about that kid is better than me as a person in general.
Yes. But to wrap that game up,
free beers anywhere either.
All right, yeah, he's gonna have free beers for life.
He's gonna get free beers in Bozeman forever.
He probably can't smoke as good of a brisket.
Okay, besides your house, besides Chad's house as a guest, I get free beers from Chad. Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of smoking brisket, I got a Traeger for Christmas. That was started smoking some meats. That was fun.
That is exciting. I was diving into that world. When are you tackling a brisket?
I don't know. Maybe that'll be my next adventure. Brisket or ribs is next.
There you go.
The first I did a pork shoulder first, or pork butt, whatever you want to call it, and it went really well. So
that's outstanding. Yeah, you showed me the pictures. It looked phenomenal.
Yeah. Basically, we'd rather talk about smoking meats than this game anymore because it's making me sad.
Yes, I was mostly over the sadness, and now I feel more sadness, which is
not sad again.
Not what you're shooting for. So let's move on to kind of a little bit of what's going on next year. Obviously, we all know who's playing in the championship game, and what that's all looking like. If it gets played, I really hope so because I don't want to fly down to Texas and then have it canceled. Which maybe that'd work out best for me. Then I don't want that. That'd be terrible.
Don't even mention it. It's gonna get played.
Okay. Well, they have contingency plans. It'll get played.
It might not get played,
but
but it's
there's an outside chance. I mean, it's going to cost me a chunk of money if it doesn't, and you and several other folks, and
right. Which I hope. I haven't received any thank yous yet. Or we haven't received any thank yous yet, but I feel like we should because I'm guessing if you listen to us, you did pretty good on selling your tickets. So you're welcome, Jackrabbit Nation.
You should have made back all the money that you lost on picks.
Right. Don't do that every year though. Somebody was telling me about that. They're like, we should just buy tickets every year. Well, it depends on who's playing. Like this is a perfect storm where NDSU and Montana State, two fan bases, travel really well. And so I wouldn't bank on that every year, but I mean, there's that potential. It's a small enough stadium, but
yeah. I mean, it would probably pay off quite a few years. I think it would pay off more often than not.
Probably not normally as much as it did this year. There was some panic.
No,
there were some panic buys after Montana State won because there weren't many tickets available, and there was some panic buying going on.
Yeah, but if you look at the FCS from this year going onward without James Madison, Sam Houston State, and just the way the subdivision looks right now, it's probably going to look like some combination of SDSU, NDSU, Montana State, Eastern Washington, Delaware, maybe if they pick it up, are probably going to have at least one team represented in the game. And of those, the only one that wouldn't really bring a big contingent is Eastern Washington. Sorry, Patrick. Everybody else would bring a pretty solid contingent. I don't think you're going to make a killing necessarily every year. But I think it's a good bet that one of those 5 or 6 teams will probably make it to the game in some combination or just one of them. So I think it'd be okay. I think you'd be all right doing that. And honestly, I'd just prefer to have more SDSU fans have tickets already for when we are going. So we have more people down there because we will be going again folks. Just because it didn't work out this year, it's going to happen.
I wasn't saying don't buy championship tickets. I think it's a great idea to buy them every year. I'm just saying don't expect that to happen every year.
Right. Like don't expect a huge return on them.
Yeah.
Right. But that's fair. Dion Blumenrader asks, and kind of nice way to segue, because there was, if you guys have been paying attention, a huge amount of turnover in the coaching staff. We have a huge amount of turnover on the roster with, I think, 21 seniors were graduating this year. And Dion asks honest opinions on all the coaching changes and how the team will look next year. To me, the most intriguing, I haven't gone through the roster a whole lot yet because we were hearing kind of rumblings about all sorts of coaching changes that were taking place with coaches moving on, getting job offers, things like that. We've, as of right now, Matt Zimmer tweeted out that as of right now, it looks like we're going to have Ryan Olson and Zach Lujan take over take over offensive coordinator. They're going to be co-offensive coordinators. And then I'm having a brain fart on who's taking over as the DC.
Rogers, right?
Yeah, Jimmy Rogers. He was co-DC.
Jimmy Rogers is going to just be the DC now, which a lot of people, I think, raise their eyebrows at the co-coordinator thing. But I think a little bit of what it reminds me a lot of what we did with Jimmy and God bless it.
Bergstrom.
He was Bergstrom. Yeah. Those two being coordinators. You had the older, more experienced veteran coach working in conjunction with kind of a young up and coming hot commodity of sorts coach. And we've kind of got the same thing with Luan and Olsen here a little bit, I think, is kind of how that feels to me.
Yeah. And it's a matter of labeling. I mean, because like if you look in the NFL, like they've got offensive coordinators and assistant offensive coordinators. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't this year bother me a whole lot.
We had Eck and Schleissner, and Schleissner was the passing game coordinator.
Right.
I mean, what the hell does that even mean? Is that really that different from being co-coordinators besides maybe pay grade?
Exactly.
So I don't think it's that big of a deal. It could work out really well, honestly. I'm excited to see what the offense looks like under those two.
Mm-hmm.
Personnel-wise, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. I think we'll have, Matt will be coming out with the best breakdown because that man is phenomenal at all of this, the Podfather.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's the Podfather for a reason. It's not just because he exists and thought up the name Jackrabbit Illustrated. The man is the man, the myth, and the legend. So, yeah. I'm excited to see how it goes. I know Coach Olson's taken over the O-line, which to me is the most important piece to replace the 605 Hogs. And they're staying the 605 Hogs. I'm going to call that until my last breath escapes out of my chest. And it's not just because I have 2 T-shirts that say it. It's because thanks to the Lickuses, but it's because that is what they are. They're the 605 Hogs, and that bunch of young guys. It's going to be not completely new guys, but there's going to be some guys cutting their teeth and getting their first starts and things like that. And if Coach Olson does a good job with them, then boy, we got something cooking. And I know Matt always says great things about Coach Olson. So I am excited to see how that works for us. In my opinion, that's the biggest key is if that goes off, because we're still going to have Isaiah back there and all that stuff, but he's going to need a line clearing the path. As far as the team and speculating on that, I don't want to go too much into that because the transfer portal is a thing and you don't really know. And we're not going to know until that really spring ball, fall camp, what it really truly looks like for roster wise until all the dust settles. And I don't have any inside information on any of that stuff. I just like to sit back, throw my hands up, and let's see what happens mentality with that. I don't know what your thoughts are on all the coaching staff and roster makeup is.
I think you covered it pretty well. I'm excited to see, what the changes are. I mean, the one good thing is it's not a complete overhaul. I mean, we still got the constant and Stig. We still got some guys, guys taking key roles that were already in the system. So there's not this big, change of guard. And, it's when you have things like that, you can see some turmoil and some, kind of some more transfers and, big changes in philosophies and stuff. So I think continuity wise, we're sitting pretty good. I'm just more interested to see, how things change. If the defensive play calling changes much, if the offensive play calling changes much, I think we'll probably see less trick plays without Eck. That was kind of his calling card that he really liked to hang his hat on, and he's damn good at them. He's more creative than
he's phenomenal.
He's more creative than a lot of other offensive coordinators in the nation, but. And good luck to Eck going to Idaho. They're a program that it's kind of, I call floundering a little bit, but I think they've got the potential to be good. See what he can build out there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, best luck to him. I think there is the opportunity for them to become a power out in the Big Sky. Any program that had the backing to jump up to the FBS level should be capable of being a perennial playoff team and, along those lines. And let's be honest, I mean, there's going to be a bit of a power vacuum in the FCS, and a team like Idaho or Delaware or somebody's going to have to step up and fill that void and fill it well. To what degree someone does will be yet to be seen, but that's what always happens. It's happened. App State and Georgia Southern left, NDSU, SDSU, JMU all kind of rose up. Sam Houston State rose up to fill those spots. FCS has been losing teams forever. That's just the nature of the beast. But overall, he's in a good spot. He got a head coaching job. Coach Bergstrom, he got a head coaching job at Winona State. Best of luck to him. I know they've had success in the past. They were a pretty solid program back when I was in high school. So best of luck to him. I hope he kills it.
Division 3.
Winona State's D2.
Are they D2?
They're in the NSIC. So
gotcha.
He's still going to be kind of in the region, and I'm sure he'll be talking to the staff and things like that as coaches all talk to each other. So, but beyond that, for next season, I know somebody brought up, what do we know about upcoming home and away games agreed upon by the Cats and Jacks? I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't either.
I think there is I thought I remembered there being a home and home agreement. If there's not there should. I mean, Montana State has a guy from our athletic department as their AD. So that's the type of home and home you want, is with a top program like that every once in a while. And I think that would have a huge deal. So, but we're going to, for when it comes to schedules and things like that, I think we got a pretty good one next year. Get yourselves season tickets early. I know I was talking to Phil from Hair Raisers, and there's a real possibility you can easily make every game on the calendar if a guy really wanted to, without too much effort. Your longest trip would be like Cedar Rapids or Cedar Falls. Sorry.
You're talking
for a football season next year.
Traveling to games?
Away games, yeah. Look at the schedule. The toughest away game for someone to travel to is Missouri State. Otherwise, it's Iowa City, Cedar Falls, Fargo, Grand Forks, and I think that's it. So
Falls,
it is
Grand Forks, Fargo. Yeah,
that's a real feasible thing to pull off. It's not that tough. Those aren't bad trips. It's something I've highly considered. I have a wedding to be at during the Iowa game that I'm very much considering skipping to go to that. I haven't been to one of our games against a FBS team since Minnesota, the first one.
I would, yeah. I mean, if you're looking for something to look forward to Iowa City. Book your trip for that now. It's a blast just to go down to Iowa City and go to any Iowa game. It's going to be awesome seeing SDSU play down there.
Don't go down there wearing like some half-assed, I got a blue and yellow shirt on and an Iowa hat on. Don't play that game. Wear your Jackrabbit stuff.
No. Yeah.
Wear your Jackrabbits. I'm not talking to you, Ben. I'm just saying in general because I see this stuff done. Wear blue and yellow. Be a Jackrabbit fan for the day. Iowa gets plenty of shine and has plenty of fans without you cheering for them. I promise. Be a Jackrabbit fan. Enjoy it. Soak it in. The Jacks are where it's at. And, for next year, the other thing to be excited about is don't forget the possibility of ice cold beer at the Dyke House from Dion again. And we'll see where that goes, and, I know in the future here, like in a week or two, I don't know. I haven't brought this up to you, Ben. I brought it up to Chad. I'd like to have a episode where we throw out ideas for things to increase in attendance and marketing and things that we kind of see that should be done and we've conversed about before in a maybe more calm fashion than we text each other about it.
I thought you were
game day experience, etc.
I thought you were going to say we should have a podcast to talk about potential beer sales. It's like, well, that's going to be a short one.
No, I'm not. I'm not as wound up about that as everybody else
podcast.
I think it'll be great for the in-stadium experience and things like that. But I also don't think that the it's going to have like a huge attendance burst. Like I don't think we're going to average 1,000 extra fans a game because there's beer there. I think that is absolutely pie in the sky, pipe smoking stuff right there.
I'm telling you, man, you'd be surprised.
Surprised. I'll tell you what.
How many people?
Tell you
what?
How about
you're gonna get a tattoo if we get beer and we increase by 1,000?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the home slate isn't quite as strong next year because we don't have, the marker game at home and things like that. We've only got the Vermin, which will probably draw some more people since they've gotten lucky twice. If we stayed at or increased our attendance, I would absolutely say it was probably because of beer sales. So I don't know. I'll think of something to put on the line for that, and when we do that podcast, I'll put it out there.
I was just saying, I would love it if you had something on the line, like a tattoo, but it would be weird.
Up there, man.
I know,
Tattoo's up there. Like what tattoo would I get? And Dustin, that's the thing on the game to go to. But I don't know what I'd put on the line for that I'd be willing to put on the line. Like
I don't know either. It would have to be something.
I'm not going to
get. What I really want is to be able to
what you want.
Tell people, hey, let's get more people to this game so that Brendan has to get a tattoo of something.
So
but I don't know what you.
So once again, I will be the one of the Splitting Hairs podcast team who puts his ass on the line to make something happen. Is that what I'm getting out of this?
Yeah, you're the ass on the line guy for the Jackrabbit Illustrated crew.
That's what I do. I just put myself up there to get public.
Speaking of ass on the line, maybe you get a Vikings tattoo on your ass.
Chad, we can't hear you at all. I'm sorry.
Oh.
You looked good doing it.
I heard him. Were you joking?
What did he say? I didn't hear him at all.
Oh, I heard him. He said you could get a Vikings tattoo on your ass.
No.
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 All right.
I have a very non-Jackrabbit Illustrated PG rated answer for where I would put a Jackrabbit, or not Jackrabbit, a Vikings tattoo, and it has to do with sucking, but I'm not gonna finish the joke. You guys can all fill in the blanks there, but that's about it. So I slapped the Vikings sticker on my Hoover, and it started to suck again.
That's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dustin,
don't worry, I'm not tattoo on your down too much.
Cubs tattoo on your stomach.
I
like right would rather C around your belly button. I like that.
Look, there's like there's a couple things I hate in life. Number one's lies. Number two is skim milk, which is just water lying about being milk. Number three is North Dakota State. And then number four is the Chicago Cubs, okay? And it's the vermin down south. So
maybe
if you want to know just how much I hate the Cubs, like it would, for me to put online, even though I don't think there's a dollar amount you could directly pay me to do that. I would do it if it guaranteed us a national championship. I would absolutely do it then. But that's it. And there's no way you can guarantee me getting a tattoo getting us a national championship. I'm going to celebrate a national championship is with a tattoo of the Cubs on my belly button.
I like the skim milk one. Just like put it on your arm. Skim milk is good. Or skim milk is better than whole milk. That'd be cool.
I love skim milk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heart skim milk. I like that.
All right. I'll think about it. I don't have any tattoos. I don't know if I want my first one to be I love skim milk. Which I suppose would be the fun of it. It's not supposed to be
that's the thing.
It's like
it's got to be motivation where people would want to see this happen. Like if you say, "Oh, I'll get a Jackrabbit tattoo," they'd be like, "Good for you, man."
And then if I add 4 cups of that 1% together, I'd have 4% milk.
What didn't Dustin asked? Pocket cheese tattoo. I like that. I heart pocket cheese.
I would consider a pocket cheese tattoo.
Stinky pocket cheese.
Well, you don't get to design the tattoo. It's just going to say pocket cheese, and it'll be like a piece of cheese with sunglasses sticking out of a pocket somewhere. If Ariel's listening, she is mortified by this whole conversation because it sounds like more and more like it might get put on the line.
I love it. But, all right. Dustin asked before. Let's go back to that question. He asked, "What game should I come to?" Is he considering coming to Brookings? Are we gonna?
It has been conversated before.
We're gonna have a real Rev and a cardboard Rev reunion.
To have the Rev meet cardboard Rev. I mean, really, for the event of it all, I would say to have the whole day experience. But other than that, because you're from Texas, Dustin, probably one of the earlier games. So you don't freeze your ass to the bleachers. That or the USD game. I mean, the early games in the USD game and Hobo Day will have the best atmospheres to go to. If one were to wander up, yeah.
USD on October 8th or Indiana State on October 29th is Hobo Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those would be good games. Yeah, and the 29th being Hobo Day. I know that won't be I know the Rev probably won't make that one. He's big into his Halloween and all that jazz down there.
There you go. Well, we've narrowed it down. Yeah. October 8th, USD. We'll see you then, Rev. It's going to be fun.
Which, can we talk about the madness that's going to be Halloween Hobo Day?
It'll be fun.
The lunacy that's going to be.
Hasn't it happened recently, though?
No, they were going to in 2020.
Oh, that's what it was. It was the COVID there. Yeah.
I think it happened a few years before that, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
No. I feel like that was...
No, it didn't.
That was it. They announced it, and then the city of Brookings was
go and look up the last time it happened.
No, you can't do Hobo Day on Halloween. It's going to ruin it for the kids.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily the city. It was a bunch of.
I mean, not the city,
of Brookings,
the townspeople
that were throwing a fit about it.
The villagers were angry.
Chad is furiously going through schedules right now to see when the last one was. But I'm telling you, it was a while ago because it was in the article, and like the last Halloween Hobo Day was definitely more than 5 years ago. And I would almost be willing to put on something it being past 10 years ago. So, and when Chad proves me right, he's welcome to pop on at any time. But you'll probably just hear silence from him as he just stays in his producer box of at the bottom of the screen when he's trying to.
What's sad is I can't even see him this time. Most of the time, I get to see Chad in a little box down there doing funny stuff, but I'm on my wife's computer. He's telling me I'm number one. I'm not. Oh, there you go. I'm not logged in, so I can't see everything. I'm just like
he almost came out of the shame, and now he's gone.
Dustin says you can't do that. Can't do USD. It's his wife's birthday. Bring her along. It'll be fun. I'm sure she'd be like, guess what I got you for your birthday? A trip to Brookings, South Dakota.
Brendan.
What?
Brendan.
Yo.
You were still in high school the last time Hobo Day was on Halloween. However,
I told you.
I was enrolled in 1998.
So
you said, I think it was a couple of years ago.
It was 98.
Yeah.
That's what this article says. I will pull it up.
What did you say about being enrolled?
Yeah, I went to school in 98 and graduated in 2006.
You were...
Chad's that old.
How old are you?
42. He's going to be 43.
Almost an AARP member.
My God. I did not know you were that old.
Did you really not know that? You're the only person that doesn't know.
I seriously thought you were like a year. No, I knew you were older than me, but I thought you were like, I don't know.
Next thing I'm going to do is blow your mind, and you're not going to believe me, but I didn't drink till I was 25.
Making up for it.
Something like that. Yeah.
Bringing the PBS time.
So here it is right here. Last time it happened was 1998. I don't know if we can get that bigger.
There you go. And I'm sure the kids' Halloween was just fine.
Yeah, it was.
How was your Halloween that year, Chad? Was it pretty good?
I'm pretty sure I was working at Menards that weekend, but I wasn't a kid.
God, what a lively time. Oh my God. All right. So
98. God, I was 11 years old when Chad was in college. This is weird. This is blowing my mind right now.
A lot of people go to school for 7 years. Most of them are called doctors. And yes, Dustin, I had a couple of victory laps.
You're doctor engineer.
Electrical engineers, typical time is 5 years at state. So, did you do yours in 4, Ben?
4.5.
Okay, so you're an all-star. Hated curve wreckers like you. You're the reason I had to take Calc 3 twice.
I was anything
that's me.
Anything but a curve wrecker, that's for sure.
D's get degrees. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress. We have to, even though the contest is over, Brendan did go 1-1 last week, or last, I don't know, whenever, was it a month ago? Whenever our game was. Yeah. He went 1-1, I went 0-2, but you should have, if you would have went Montana State, you could have tied me. That would have been a lot more fun.
I would have. I chose my heart, not my head, and that's all right.
So we will pick this week's game, which is Montana State against NDSU. Let's talk about it a little bit, at least. even though we wish we were there. We can break it down a little bit. Hope to God,
we just lost
Montana State.
You said that.
Hope to God. Yeah, they're like, no, don't want to hear about it. Hope to God Montana State wins. They're actually 7.5-point underdogs, which I'm surprised, honestly. Like, I know NDSU has their history and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. I think Montana State's the real deal, honestly. With Tommy touchdowns at quarterback, they are tough. And I think I saw something about the line going up to 8, but now it's going back down to 7. I see. So I think there's some people getting on Montana State. Dustin says Montana State by 4. It would not surprise me at all if Montana State wins this game, and that's not even because I'm an SDSU fan. That's just because I think Montana State's that good.
Well, seen both of these teams in person, right? Against SDSU, and actually, coincidentally, NDSU saw a more under strength version of SDSU, and still SDSU. I mean, from what we saw, I got a feeling the only thing that makes me hesitate from taking Montana State outright is NDSU got 3 weeks to plan for Milan, which is a long time to be able to plan for one guy. So that's kind of what makes me hesitant. I don't think the NDSU offense is going to do much against this Montana State defense. They had a hard time against our defense, and objectively speaking, I think Montana State, top to bottom, has a better defense. It's hard to argue against with what they did to our offense, which is a better offense than NDSU's. What they did to Eastern Washington's offense, better offense than NDSU's. And now they got 3 weeks to plan. I don't expect a high-scoring game at all. I would not be surprised at all if Montana State wins. I think an 8-point spread is ludicrous. So I'm taking Montana State all day long with those.
Well, same here, no doubt. Yeah. Speaking of making picks, this is the Fade Brendan Get Rich segment brought to you by Shenanigan's Pub of Sioux Falls, which I hope that some of you got to Shenanigans to watch the Montana State game. I was not able to do that, but it is the place to go watch Jack's away games, or any Jack's game for that matter. So thank you to them for sponsoring the segment. And thank you, as always, to our title sponsors, Cottonwood Coffee in Brookings and Drake's Place in Belleville, South Dakota. With that said, I couldn't agree with you more. I think Montana State at plus 7.5 or 8 or whatever it is an easy bet. And I think if NDSU wins, it'll be a close game. It'd be by 3 or 4 or whatever. And honestly, I think NDSU is going to have to kind of have the game that Montana did against Montana State in terms of having very good special teams play and getting turnovers to go your way. And that's another good point by Ron, is that Ifanse is going to be hopefully healthy. And he'll be another factor. I mean, he's a good back that we didn't even have to deal with. So, I would not be surprised at all if Montana still wins this game, and I hope they do too. I think
Brendan keeps freezing up, doesn't he?
I feel like he's a little delayed.
Yeah.
He's got
well, I'm having issues.
Some might say that about me going to school for 7 years, but that's a different kind of delayed.
Like I was just looking at Brendan, like waiting for him to say something.
Frozen.
He's just smiling.
I got
Brendan, oh man, it's going rough, buddy.
Yeah, it's not going well.
We can't even.
You got too many kids streaming at your house.
Whoever's not watching this right now, go back and watch this replay, because
I don't know.
It's It's just Brendan smiling.
Are you going side to side right now? He's like,
I keep waiting for him to talk, and he's just like smiling. And I think he's trying to talk. I don't even know if he can hear us.
Look
right
like
now.
He's dabbing over there or something. I don't know what's going on. That might be.
Oh,
we might be ready
dab.
to end this thing with that.
I dabble.
Man. Oh, so he is.
Brennan, you're bussing, man. You're bussing.
Anyway, other than that, I don't have anything else to say about the championship game. I hope you have fun down there. It should be a good time. Frisco is always a good time.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited to meet up with Dustin and a couple other buds, Jordan, and meet the FCS Fan Nation admins down there. It should be a lot of fun. And I don't plan on remembering a lot of it, so I'm excited to go.
Yeah, it should be a good time. I wish I was going. If anybody needs a hotel room, well, first of all, if you booked hotel rooms a year ago, well, not a year ago, in whenever the championship game was this spring, and you haven't canceled it yet, make sure you do that. I just remembered this morning that I hadn't canceled mine yet. So I almost was on the hook for $350 or whatever it was. But anyway, I think that's all I got for now. Go watch SDSU basketball. They're playing really well. They are, I think, they were in like the top 5 mid-major or something like that. The mid-major rankings, I think they were top 5.
Wrestling has a triangular at Sunday too. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, it's fine. You have your own podcast for this stuff, Chad, but go ahead. What do you got?
That's all. That's all. If you're looking for more SDSU stuff to go to.
I'm just kidding. We'll talk.
Brendan, you're killing us.
Oregon is just cut shots of Brendan smiling. I love it. But no, I agree. Go to SDSU wrestling as well. And go to the SDSU USD basketball game. He's just spinning this.
I do what I want, man.
Go to the SDSU USD basketball game on Saturday. That should be a good atmosphere. Yeah. Other than that, we better end this thing at this point.
Yep.
It's a fitting way to end a fun year. Like Brendan said, big year for SDSU football. They won a ton of games, played a ton of games, won a ton of games. There'll never be another year like it. I hope there won't be because it's been ridiculous, but it's been fun to watch, fun to follow the guys. Thank you to the seniors that are leaving the program now. And thank you to all the coaches that are now gone, and look forward to next season.
And we'll be back with the B-Team basketball podcast in a while.
Well, we will.
Shut up, Ben.
I think Brendan is so delayed.
Do the thing.
So
let's
delayed.
Do it. Come on, let's go.
All right. Like always, we will say go big, go blue, go Jacks.
Go Jacks.
Go Jacks.